Go in without no problem. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Business of Books. This is the Beyond the Book Media's Business of Books. We are so excited that you are here. Pardon the tardiness. We had a little technical issues, but we're still winning on this side. Just want to say hello and come on in. Come on in. And we're going to get to the doctor today. We're going to talk to the doctor today about her books. You are in the Beyond the Book Media's The Business of Books, where we speak to indie authors and showcase them and let them tell us about their journey in writing and publishing. And we just celebrate them. And if that is you, you want to write your book, or you are consider yourself an indie author and you want to partner with Beyond the Book Media, this is the place to be. Follow us, follow us, follow us. As I stated, I had some technical issues, so give me a moment. I'll give them a little while to jump on in here with us. I am so excited. Ooh, so excited. Pardon the interruption. I tell you, it has been a time, but the devil still won't win. So, how was your interview over on Clubhouse?
Oh, it was amazing. Like, seriously, I really enjoyed being able to share with Casimir on Clubhouse. So,
Yeah, she's
yeah.
amazing. She is totally amazing. I'm waiting. I had some technical stuff going on here, and it's still trying not to boot up for me. But we are going to win. Yeah, 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 yeah. Here we go. We are still winning. It's coming up sooner or later. Seems like it's going to be later, but we're going to win anyway. Let our people come on in. If you're joining us, please, by all means, go to streamyard.com/Facebook and give them authorization to show us your comments on this side. Yes. We have Dr. Kimberly in the house, and I'm so excited. So excited. Let me go here. Ooh, I tell you, that power had a issue, and I waste soda and everything on my devices. It's just been a mess. But guess what? We're still in the game. We are still
Yes,
in the
we.
game. I'm so excited. People are joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am your host, Crystal Davis, and this is the Business of Books. And we have Dr. Kimberly with us today. And I am excited about talking with her about her book. We're giving these devices of mine some time. So we can get started, and I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions while I wait. Welcome, welcome, welcome again. Please go to www.streamyard.com/Facebook to allow both myself and Dr. Kimberly to see your comments. Hello, Brittany. Brittany says, I'm here. We are excited.
Favorite.
You are here, Brittany. And we apologize for the delay. The devil tried it, but he will not win. So, Dr. Kimberly, I'm just going to open up. And you notice I'm not saying your last name because I don't want to chop it up. So I'll allow you to say that. So, will you just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Dr. Kimberly Offutt. Like, get off it. Oh gosh, there's so much to tell about myself. I don't really know where to begin. Um, I actually did some coaching earlier in the year, went through this life coaching, and she told me, tell me who you are, tell me about you. And I did exactly what I'm getting ready to do now. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a mentor, I'm an author, I'm a child welfare advocate. Um, I'm all these things. I'm a sister. I'm a, believer. I'm all these things. There's so much to say about me, but her name is Angela. She was like, okay, all that's cute. No, tell me about you. Who are you? So
Wow.
every time someone asks me that question, I remember what she said. Tell me, who are you? Tell me about
Wow.
Kim. And for me to actually sit back and think about that, I'm I'm a lover of all things good. I'm passionate about caring for people and seeing families be whole and strengthened. And
Beautiful.
I'm passionate about families. I'm passionate about bringing some healing to trauma. We've all gone through it. We've all
Mhm.
experienced some type of trauma. We've all been through some dysfunction in our lives.
Come
I'm
on.
passionate about seeing some of that be brought to healing and wholeness. I'm a lover of the Lord. I need to read my Bible more so I can tell you exactly where that scripture came from, but I know the word.
Yes.
Can't
Yes.
quote it correctly.
Mhm.
So we're gonna work on that. But yeah, there's so much. There's so much that I could tell you about me. I wear many hats, many hats. And so to that tonight I'm wearing the hat of the author, the child welfare advocate every time I have an opportunity to be on a virtual stage or a physical stage. I'm going to recruit somebody because
Okay.
somebody's in the room who has prayed about, thought about, or lives have been touched by foster care or adoption in one way or another. I
Right.
want to be able to have more of those conversations. I want to be able to remove some of the fear from families who may not be willing to step forward because of those fears. So, would love to have a conversation with you tonight. I don't know if I answered your question,
You
but
did. You
that's a little
did.
bit about
But
me.
but that's who you are. And I love the fact that Miss Angela said, but okay, you're all of that. So many women are all of those things, but what are you in particular? Who are you in
Who
particular?
are
What do
you?
you enjoy? Talk about your passion and your purpose
Mhm,
outside of wife, mother,
mhm,
advocate, and all of those things. Who in the innermost parts are you? I
mhm.
love that. I love when people make you dig deep inside yourself. That is a beautiful, beautiful reflection of who you are. I've heard so much about you. I watched you and Chanel when you did your interview with her doing the challenger, one of the things where she was
Oh, okay.
interviewing you. So I really, really enjoyed your interview. And as far as foster care, my grandmother was heavy into foster care. She had eight
Mm,
nine children of her own, but every one of her children fostered other children, and even adopted. So a lot of my cousins and all, from all eight of my uncles and aunts are actually family members because they went on ahead and adopted. One aunt adopted like three, one adopted two. So it has been a part of
mhm.
my life since I was a little child. That's all I know is foster and fostering and adoption. So
So,
that's my
Miss,
family.
I'm going to go ahead and say this, Miss Crystal. I need to get your information because I'm telling you, I said everywhere that I go, there's someone. And so
Mhm.
you might just be that one.
I
And
might just be.
yep,
I
on
just
the,
told somebody that the other day. I was like, I've been thinking about fostering or adopting a kid or something. My
yeah,
children are all grown. The youngest is
continue the
26,
legacy.
by the way. But I was like, I feel like there's somebody, I'm a CASA advocate. So I
Are you?
yes, I
Oh,
love
that is
it.
awesome. That is
So,
awesome.
so I
Those of
know that
you,
that's the vein, you know. I
yeah.
just love, there's so many that just need a hug, just need a little bit of encouragement and love, and I have so much to give. So yes, I will definitely speak with you about that offline. But now we're going to talk about your book. They
Mhm.
need you now. One mother's plea for the church to embrace adoption. The church. Oh my.
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh,
so
yeah.
and so for those of you that are joining, hello. Pastor Chandler said, "Hey family, hello, Pastor Chandler, and welcome to Beyond the Book Media's The Business of Books." We have here with us Dr. Kimberly Offutt, and she is going to talk to us about her book, They Need You Now, One Mother's Plea for the Church to Embrace Adoption. And we're going to get right into it. She told us about who she is with her many hats, and then who she is based on her passion and her purpose. And so now, Dr. Kimberly, I want you to tell us about your book.
Really simple. And I'm so glad Pastor Chandler is in the room because now I know there's a pastor in the room. So I'm speaking directly to you, Pastor Chandler. But and I'm smiling because you're my kingdom cousin. Okay, so just take it all in love. But They Need You Now was written uh, to be able again to inspire the church. It was, like I said, a plea to the church to embrace adoption. James 1:27. When I started the work that I did in my career in child welfare in the last 20 years, I've spent the last 18 years partnering with the church, specifically recruiting churches based on James 1:27, where it says, pure and faultless religion is this, to care for the orphan. Pure and faultless religion. And since I know we do so many good and godly things in our churches. There's so many things that our churches, you see churches who, they're faith based. You see churches who, talk about prosperity, and, they have those certain messages. Every church, I believe, should have a foster care and adoption ministry, because this adoption is God's heart. It's his heartbeat. James 1:27, we are biblically mandated to care for the orphan. There are over, if I can just tell you this spiel, there are over 400,000 children in foster care right now. Over 123,000 of them are available for adoption. In Chandler, how many churches are there? When you think about it, if every church just identified one family to adopt just one child, the body of Christ could solve this alone. Too many children are aging out, meaning the doors to the foster care system are closed to them. They have to figure it out on their own without the support of a family. We need to step up. The church needs to totally eradicate the foster care system, because when it's all said and done, children belong in families, not systems, period. So this book is all about that. It's a plea to the church to step forward. It talks about God's heart for adoption. We all, I mean, we know about Moses and Jesus and Ruth, and those. I mean, adoption is a ministry. We're all adopted. So it talks about
Yes.
God's heart for adoption.
Right.
I'll share my story throughout this book, but it's intended to get you off the fence.
Ooh, I love it. And you, just like you said, we're all adopted. If you read your word,
Yes,
we were adopted when Jesus died on the cross. Our adoptions were sealed then. So
yes.
that's, I totally get it. Oh, this
Mhm.
is
Go ahead.
going to be good. You have some people saying hello. It's great to hear the very powerful Dr. Kimberly. Grace, congratulations on your accomplishment, and that is from Miss Vernicia. And then you have Miss Thalisa, who said that her aunt and husband adopted 4 children.
Wow. I
Yeah.
didn't know that, Miss Felisa. Both of those are my writing partners, my writing buddies.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
they're a part of Beyond the Book Media.
And you look at it this way, Dr. Kimberly, when you even built a community writing a book. And
Yes.
I love the fact that you have passion for the young. And the Lord has called me to that same audience, but from a different perspective. I've
Mhm.
always had a heart for those that came out of the foster care system. As I said, my family adopted, but then there were those that where I grew up at who parents, fell victim to the streets or whatever, and they were removed from the home. And my mother used to always get on me because when my younger sister had like older clothing and things, instead of giving it to the Goodwill, I used to go in the neighborhood and get the little young girls that parents wasn't doing anything for them. And I love to plait and braid. And I would go get them and bathe them in our home, do their hair, put little mixed barrettes on it and things like that. And my mother used to whoop me every time, like, stop bringing these people in here. But I just felt a need to all, because I felt like I want them to be pretty too. I mean, I know what their parents were on drugs or whatever, but I wanted them to feel pretty. So that was my way of adopting them, although I was only 12 and they were probably like 3 or 4 and running around not well maintained. And I would
Mhm.
wait till my mother would go to work and I would go out there and wash those babies, take them in my mom's house and wash them up, plait their hair, put them on some of my sister's clothes that were too small. And the older ladies on my row used to always say, you're gonna be so blessed. But I always wanted them to feel beautiful.
Miss Crystal, we need more 12-year-olds like you. We need more mothers like you, because that's exactly what our community did. we took care of each other. We took care of each other. Growing up, I could have easily have been, one of the kids that ended up in the foster care system.
Yeah.
Easily. But I
Yeah.
had, neighbors around me who, even though I was a latchkey kid, that looked out for me. People who brought us meals when they knew we were eating flour and water pancakes because mama didn't get paid yet because it's not Thursday. You know what I mean?
Right.
People who were giving us clothes and making sure bills got paid, helping our family. And
Hmm.
that's what we're called to do, to care
Yeah.
for each other. And you did that as a little person. That's a beautiful thing.
And I
What
still
a
love to do it
beautiful
to this
soul.
day. That is a beautiful thing. I
Yes.
still nearly 50 and still love to give. And my husband, like, you go buy a gift for somebody, you don't hardly know folks. They invite you to baby shower, you buy all. I just I just want the children to be well cared for.
I love
Always
your
been a
heart.
passion of mine. Always been a passion of mine. So that is you telling us about the book. Talk a little bit more about the journey of writing this book and why now.
You know, I shared this on Clubhouse, how this has been, I'm going to say, about a 20-year journey.
Oh wow.
And I, not that I sat down and put pen to paper for 20 years. It didn't take 20 years. It only took me 7 days to write this book once I committed myself to doing it, and being a part of the challenge. But I say 20 years because in my professional career, there's so many lives that I've touched, so many families that I've worked with, so many kids that call me Mama Kim, because I was their foster care caseworker, and the person whose name they put on a in case of an emergency called this person because they had no one else to write down but their
My,
foster care caseworker. They found me on social media, here later in life. So I have a lot of kids out there. I'm going to say that directly to Brittany, who's on here, and she's one of my mentees, but she doesn't know about all of my kids that I have. But this has been a journey for me because I live and breathe what I
mm,
do for work. I'm putting it in quotes because I don't feel like the work that I do is actually work. This is ministry. And I've always said that whenever I get time, I mean, when you work in child welfare, time is one of those things you don't have. You have a lot
right.
of cases, you have a lot of families that you're serving, you have very little time. I was a single person when I started off in child welfare, and I had over 40 cases. But you
Mm,
did all this work, and I'm having to keep up with all of these kids and manage all of these families. I didn't have time. And then when God moved my husband and I, when we got married, moved my husband and I from Georgia to Michigan on this amazing faith walk, which I talk about just a little bit in book one, you know, I didn't have a lot of time because I immediately became, in that year that I started recruiting families, my family was the first family that I recruited. I was very successful in 2003 because God said, before you tell somebody else what to do in foster care and adoption, no, baby girl, you do it first. And you share your story and tell your story and bring other people along with you. So I didn't have a lot of time when you have 7 kids and, working full time, getting multiple degrees and all that stuff. Didn't have time. But COVID,
gave
I
you
call
time.
it call it COVID win. I went from 2019 traveling the world, Miss Crystal, the world.
What?
I literally was on somebody's stage in somebody's church every month, week to week, Sunday to weekend, behind, like seriously, traveling the world. I was in Ethiopia. I saw the motherland in 2019.
Wow.
Then
My.
2020 hit and God set me down.
You and everybody else got the same call.
I know.
Sit down.
It felt real personal, because I was looking forward to 2020. 2020, it's got to be big, right? It's going to be
Yes, like
big.
it's double digit. Yeah, 2020.
Hey,
Yeah, right,
yes,
right.
yes. And I got set down. I had time,
Wow.
nothing but time. And, it was a blessing to be able to commit myself to doing what I said that I was going to do whenever I got time. And that was write my book. I'm sorry, that was a long
Oh, that's
answer to your
okay, honey.
question.
You giving me life over here. I am okay with everything you said. I tell you, and so you've already kind of touched on it about what inspired you. But what I love about what you just said is that how intentional God is about something when he say, well, you do it first, because you can't help people if you don't know the process, if you don't understand the pain, if you don't truly understand the journey. Yes, you understand the journey from the side of the caseworker and that side, but I need you to know the journey from the inside. I need you to nurture and love and cultivate love with children, so that when you meet those that may not necessarily come in your home, but you can tell the next parent how to do the same inside their home. I love that he is so
Yes.
intentional, and
Yes.
in the thing that he's birthed us for, in the assignment that he gave us when he sent us here. He
Mhm.
makes sure that we're equipped enough,
Mhm.
so when it is time, you know what to do. You know what the right thing is. You know all the players and the people, and
Mhm.
you know everything there is to know to navigate and help parents not give up and not get the child and get overwhelmed and decide, let me send the child back, as if it's one of these something you ordered online and it was broken when you got it. But learn how
Mhm.
to nurture them where they are until you can love them where you want them to be and where God has called
Exactly.
them to be. I love
You
his
better preach it.
intentionality. I love God's intentionality. He loves
Yes.
us that much.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And don't let me get on my soapbox, because I tell you, this is to my heart right here, Miss Dr.
Mhm.
Kim.
Mhm.
Did you see this right here?
I know, and I'm just loving all of it. I'm sitting back, I'm thinking about, because on the a call before on Clubhouse, one of the young ladies was like, you need to get out here. You need to, maybe think about opening up a room on Clubhouse or maybe doing a podcast. What she didn't
Mm-hmm.
know is I already have like the name for my podcast, because I
Mm.
want to talk to more families who've gone through the process, families whose lives have been touched by foster care and adoption, young people whose lives have been touched by foster care and adoption. There's so many stories that haven't been told, good stories and hard stories,
Yes.
life-changing stories, stories of restoration and reconciliation, stories that
Yes.
have a whole lot of pain, but you can see God's hand and his
But it
presence.
still has purpose. It's got some
Exactly.
pain. There's still
Exactly.
an assignment,
There's
and it
still an
still
assignment
has
with it
purpose.
all. With
Doc,
it all.
Dr. Kim, me and you can't talk. We can't talk. We can't
We
talk.
sure
I
can.
tell you.
We do need to talk though. We need to talk some more.
And so, Dr. Kim, why you see that I'm so excited is because I was 1 foot away from being somebody that you had to adopt, to bring into your home. I had a father, engineer, all those things, Lockheed Martin, all those things. And then he fell victim to the streets. And I was one step away. And I had a mother that resented that he wasn't there. And I looked just like him. So I had to deal with some things on the back end. But God,
Lord God.
but God, and even in that, that's what the elderly people used to say to me, because they knew the trauma I experienced inside the home. But when I came outside, I still saw a need to help that little
Mm,
girl. I still saw a need to protect her when I knew her mother's boyfriend was trying something crooked. I still
mm.
saw the need after I had even been violated. I still saw the need to help somebody else, because it was never ever about me. And I knew that as a little girl.
Say it.
I
Say it.
knew that.
Say it. This is not about you. Oh my gosh. Oh
But
my.
I knew that at 5. I knew that when it happened to me. I knew that when those things, because it was multiple people, multiple times. But I still cried in the midnight hour. I still journaled. I still sat in a corner. I still was afraid to go to sleep, because nobody was there to protect me, because I lost the
Yes.
protection when I lost my father's protection. But God reminded me. He said, "But I was your first father. I've
Yes.
always been there."
Yes.
in
He
in the
never
midnight
left
hour
you.
when you cried in the closet, when you was balled
Yes.
up, I was there. And then you got up the next morning and still saw a need somewhere else and said, how can I help you, little girl?
Mhm.
Because whatever I'm going through is so it's minuscule compared to what I see you're going through. And how can I
Mhm.
protect you in the midst of what you're going through, even as I fight my own battles on my own? So I take my hat off to you. I
Oh,
promise
my
you,
head is
we're
off
gonna
to
get through this. We're
you.
gonna
We're gonna get through this thing. Oh my goodness, Miss Crystal.
Yes, honey, but
The
God is still
stories.
good.
He
I'm
is
still
so
here.
good.
I am
He is so
still
good.
here.
Yes. purposefully,
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 intentionally still
intentionally.
here. I still salute God because He said, "You still here." I'm still on the battlefield for the Lord, and I
Yes,
am
ma'am.
excited about it. I understand that my journey is for me and all that I've endured. I mean, if I could tell you, Miss Kim, there's been some things, but even in my father's death, I cared for him to his final breath.
Mhm,
Even now I care for my mother, and all that she did wrong, I still take care of her because God
mhm.
didn't give me no conditions or no options. He said, you
Yes,
still got, he said, take care of your mother, love them, honor your father and your mother, that you may have
mhm.
lived the days. And I
Yes,
got work to do, so I'm doing what I'm supposed to do so I can live a long time, because there's some people
yes,
we
yes.
have to save.
You better walk in healing and wholeness in that one. Absolutely.
Come on, Jesus.
Absolutely.
Look, come on, Jesus.
Yes.
So, who is your book for? Who would you say your book is for? I know the church, but who else is your book
You
for?
know, when it's all said and done, I had in mind, because Chanel, going through the process, she teaches you to
Hmm.
really, have that target audience.
Right,
So if I
right,
was able to identify the person that I want to have this book, it is women, Black women specifically, ages 25 to 50, whether you're single or married. Absolutely, this book is for you. I want this could really resonate with you as a mother, as a single parent, however, whether you're a parent or not. Um, but it's for everybody. We
right.
all, like, this book talks about the fact that we all have a biblical mandate to care for the orphan. There's something that all of us can do. If that's taking care of that baby's hair, washing up somebody, mentorship, providing, if you could write the check to help organizations like different foundations and different organizations,
Right.
go and serve and protect and provide for kids. Even if you're not that foster or adoptive parent, we all have a calling to do something. So it's for everybody.
Wow, it is definitely for everybody. There's always something for everybody to do. And nothing is too small.
And nothing
Nothing
is too
is
small.
too small. Even if you start off saying, let me test it out, let me go read books at the centers or something, and nothing is
Pray.
ever too small. You on
Everybody
your
can pray.
knees. Everybody can pray, but beyond prayer, God said, don't just
Mhm.
pray and send people off. He told you still got something to
You
do.
got
So
something to
you
do.
still got, if somebody come to you and say they hungry and thirsty, don't tell them you're gonna pray for them. That's in the word too. Now he told you to
Yes,
do something.
absolutely.
If you can help them, help them. But I mean, this, I'm excited about this book, and I definitely want to talk to you. I am a member of a small church, but I think that we could get you to come out and talk and engage the minds of the individuals that may have desire to be a parent and have not, and this may be what they need, but there's always somebody that we can foster. And I
And that,
just I just I
that's
am
my
just
heart right there, Miss Crystal. Any opportunity that I have to do that, that's what I want to do. So I can just say this real quick. In my Instagram bio, I don't know if they have my links. I forgot I'm not in Clubhouse, so my link's not up here. But in my Instagram bio, I have a link tree that will literally drop down for speaker. Like, if you looking for a speaker, any opportunity where I have, even if it's virtual, small group, whatever, women's ministry, men's ministry, the youth, any opportunity that I have to speak and to share and to
Mhm.
really encourage, inspire, answer questions, whatever I need to do, I'm willing to do just that.
Okay, I'm definitely going to follow you on Instagram and try to coordinate some events with different churches and organizations that I work with, because this again is near and dear to my heart. It's all I've ever known, and what I love about my grandparents and my aunts and uncles, we were never allowed to say, this is my step cousin, this is my foster cousin, this is my adopted cousin. It was just, this
Mhm.
is my cousin,
My
this is my
cousin.
sister, this is my brother. We never,
Absolutely.
ever were ever allowed to say anything other than brother, sister, cousin, aunt,
Mhm.
niece, whatever. And so I love that I got to see it. And what I do love also is that it was never about the money for them. It
Mhm.
was never ever about the money. They always made sure that they cared for the kids and they treated the children just like they were born and birthed from in our bloodline. And to this day, some of those that were not adopted, they still come to our family functions. We still know
Because they're
where they
family.
live. We're still a part of the village for their children's children. And so when we
Exactly.
get together, it is, I tell people, we don't have to invite people because there's a whole lot of us, but we have
Exactly.
a good time. And some of them have gone back and met their biological parents, and we've gone with them to their other states to meet their biological parents. It's been a whirlwind, but I love every minute of it. I
That's
love
beautiful.
every minute of it. So tell me, where can people find your, no, let's do this. Tell me the three takeaways that you would like the readers to walk away with when they read your book. Let's
See,
go there.
I should have wrote this down. Okay, so I think I remember this because I I shared this with y'all and we talked about it in Clubhouse. But foster care and adoption is a ministry. Number one, this
Okay.
is God's heart. It's a ministry where we all have that biblical mandate based on James 1:27. Pure and faultless religion is this. We all know we've all been adopted. So this is a
Mhm.
ministry. This is, as we talked about, it's not about you. It's about this child. It's about bringing healing and wholeness. It's about what God has gifted you and equipped you to do for this particular child and even that child's extended family as well. Like you were
Right.
talking about the bio family. I'm loving it. I'm jiving with all of that. You know, this is a ministry. There's so much hurt and brokenness and pain, but there's, you see on the end of that healing, and like we talked about already, the purpose in that pain as well.
Right.
So
Right.
number one, this is a ministry. And I already said, you know, the biblical mandate. That's number two, that there's a biblical mandate for all of us. We're kingdom believers. We all have a call. We're mandated to care for the
Yes.
orphan.
Yeah.
Now, not just caring about orphans. Like we can all care about the fact that there are kids out here in foster care who are available for adoption, or kids who end up on the streets when they age out of foster care. They end up homeless or incarcerated, a whole nother system that are taking care of them again. We can care about the fact that there are young women who, when they age out of the foster care system within 2 to 3 years, they may end up having babies that end up back in the foster care system when they don't
Mhm.
have a supportive family. We can care about that, but we're called to care for.
4. Come on now.
That
Make
in
it
itself
plain.
means, yeah, let's make that plain. When we care for, we put our time, our heart, our resources, our gifts. We put ourselves into this thing. That's
Yes.
why I say every church should have a foster care and adoption ministry. Where's your foster care and adoption ministry?
I'm with you.
Every church should have one. And then thirdly, that there's so many children waiting for you now. Like
Mm.
they need you now. There are over 400,000 kids. I know I've probably already said this in foster care. Over 123,000 of them are available for adoption. Every year, 23,000 kids age out of the foster care system without the support of a family. We need families to step forward. There's so many people who, when they think about adoption, they think about those little people, you know, the little kids that mama used to tell me that if you feed a child enough, they'll start looking like you.
Looking like you.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've heard it before. I'm not the only person. Like seriously, okay. So are you from the South, Miss
I
Crystal?
am. I'm from Atlanta.
Okay, okay. So mama used to say that, you know. So when I became an adoptive parent, I literally in my brain, I was looking for someone between the ages of 0 and 3 because I literally thought that I could care for this child. They'll start looking like me, you know, and they'll forget all their past hurts, and I'll just love them up, and it would be everything would be beautiful. But there's so many people who are like that, who aren't looking for the teenager or the
Mhm.
the middle schooler who has 2 or 3 other siblings as well. No one's knocking down the doors of the church or the organizations for the 16 and 17 and 18-year old who are most at risk of aging out of the system. What
Right.
happens when these young men, if you look at the statistics, I'm sorry, you said
Go
something that
ahead.
keeps
Go
going
ahead.
on all kinds of stuff. But if you look at the statistics, a large majority of the children who are waiting the longest, who've waited for more than 2 to 3 years for an adopted family. They're between the ages of 14 and 16, so they're the older children. They're predominantly male and they're predominantly African American. So think about our Black males. What
Mhm.
happens to our sons when they age out of the foster care system? A whole nother system is raising them. The
Yes.
criminal justice system. The future heads of our households
Mhm.
has been so impacted by trauma and the foster care system and the disruption of family unless we step forward and do something now.
Yeah.
What are we doing now for our
Wow.
sons and daughters?
Wow.
Think about that.
Yes, the seed carrier.
Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna leave that right there. The
We
seed
just gonna
carrier.
we just gonna plot
So
that right
the
there.
seed carrier, then he goes to jail, and then he can't reproduce. He can't be fruitful and multiply. And then our generation, those that look like us, they become extinct at some point because there's no seed carrier.
Mhm.
So you gotta understand, either they're dead or they go to jail, and then they can't produce because you can't in those two environments. And so that's something to think about. But yes, so where can we find your book and support you?
So my book is found on Amazon. So I believe we can drop the link in the chat.
Mhm.
It's on Amazon. Is They Need You Now. One Mother's Plea for the Church to Embrace Adoption. And you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at I am Kimberly Offutt. So all of my hashtags are the same there. My website is the same, IamKimberlyOffutt.com.
Okay. So tell me, you say you went through the boot camp with Chanel,
Uh-huh.
well, with the Beyond the Book
With
Media
the
family,
Humble Media family. Yes.
and tell me what was that experience like, and then we'll talk about Jacinta and the publishing side because I know that was sweet because she's just the sweetest being ever. So
Yes, the entire process, just going through the writing process was just an experience in itself in the first place. I shared how the first time I heard Chanel speak, she said to me, and I felt like even though she is speaking to an audience of, I think it was the capacity, she had to increase the capacity in the room, so it was over 100 people in the
mm-hmm.
room. I felt like she was talking right to me.
Right.
But she told me, she was like, "You are the expert." And here I am, she was talking about figuring out what it is that you're the expert in. And I could not come up with, even though it's like, duh, girl, you've been in child welfare for over 20 years. You live this, you breathe this, you look at your family, like everything. Yes, I am the expert in this, and I can walk
Mhm.
confidently and write confidently about foster care and adoption in the process, and the other side, because it's a different thing if you're a foster care caseworker or an adoption worker, but you're also a foster and adoptive parent. you know
Mhm.
there's a whole different, you look at things a little
Yep.
differently. The children, you see things through a different lens. The entire
Yes.
process,
Mhm.
you see through a different lens. So just being able to be a part of this writing process, starting off with acknowledging my expertise and then writing with the Holy Spirit. OMG, I'll never forget that. Writing with the Holy Spirit. I,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Miss Crystal, when I look back at this little book, and I even look at the prayers and some of the things that is written in here, I can only give glory to God, because it's like, no, you wrote this. And he told me, even during that season when I was going through the writing process, is that you will write only what I call you to write. You will only speak what I tell you to speak. So even book 2 and book 3 has taken so much longer to write because there's some stories that I wasn't sure I wanted to share, but he's like, no, take your mask off.
Wow! I love it. Let me tell
It's been
you,
a process. It's been a process. I'll
that is
never forget writing with the Holy Spirit. So that was just beautiful. That process in itself was just beautiful, and being able to build that camaraderie with our other writing sisters, that we still get together, It's just it's as a family, it's just been a beautiful process. So I'm just
I love it.
yes.
Now tell me your social media platforms again. I want to put it in the chat so people can see
Yeah.
that.
Instagram, and Facebook, I am Kimberly Offutt. It's at I am Kimberly Offutt.
Mm-mm-mm. Let me put the at sign because somebody gonna say, "Oh, I was just looking for it and it wasn't there." You know, you have to be like, baby, put the at sign. I am Kimberly. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay, okay. And so the publishing portion of it. Let's talk about Miss Jacinta and her crew. What was that like? She's
When
so
I
sweet, but she's to the point. She wants
Oh
you to
yeah,
get the book out.
I'm telling you, the simple fact that this entire process, if you've to be able to finish your manuscript, turn it in, and then to know that everything is really laid out for you. I knew what to expect at every point in this process, and they were on
Mm,
it like with excellence. And if anything was holding up anything, like I'm the hold up on books 2 and book 3. I'm the hold up. I need to get this complete. I need to get these manuscripts in, but they were moving. They read through my stuff, also helped me with the editing process of it all. They write with inspiration too, pulling out more things out of me as like explain a little bit more here and there. Just going through the book cover, being able to give them my vision and then see the vision come together. I
isn't that beautiful?
It's beautiful. Every step of this process was
Yeah.
done with such excellence that there's no better word. It was just done with such excellence. And
Wow.
I'm just confident in the work that were able to put together. The Holy Spirit, and Beyond the Book Media.
Because
There,
you know it's Holy Spirit led, so we don't do anything without Him saying, "Hey, that's the right direction." He says, "Turn left," we
exactly,
turn in left. If you don't
exactly.
mind, do you have a copy of your book that you can hold up for our audience so that they can see it?
I do. This is They Need You Now.
Oh wow!
They need you now.
Yes,
And look, someone told me this is when I told them about the cover of the book. I wanted it to be an image of a child's, like a child's face. But
yes,
folks looked at me and they was like, that looked like you. And I'm like, you know what?
it does.
That does look that does look like me. But this is a young child. The way that this came together is just incredible. It's just incredible. I
And
love the cover of this book.
it is a reflection of who you were called to, and
Yeah,
so that's why it looks like you because it is who you are called to.
you better
So
preach it, Miss Crystal.
I just love it.
You better
Yes.
preach
And
it.
so yeah, and honey, I'm a minister. I try not to minister, but I be like, sometimes
You
it just
can't
be
help
like,
it. It's in you. It's in your bones. It's in your bones.
so let's talk about what other products and services do you want to offer alongside your book for promoting purposes? Is there anything you're giving away to those that
So,
go and purchase your book right now?
so there is because I told you in every audience, every opportunity that I have to share, I know that there's someone whose heart is tender towards foster care or adoption. So if you follow me on Instagram, if you got all my links and all the other stuff, I have a link tree in there, and in there you can see the link for coaching sessions. And so I'm offering free 30-minute coaching sessions to people who are interested in foster care or interested in knowing, is this right for my family? So a question and answer time just with me. It's like a little consultation, answer some questions with you, pray with you, kind of, learn a little bit more about you, tell you more about the process. And also, because I work with young adults who've aged out of the foster care system and who are looking for coaching themselves on how do they share their story, or just coaching, just life coaching alone. That's another one of the sessions that I offer in there, effectively sharing your story, and effectively, even as a foster and adoptive parent, sharing your story.
Yeah.
So you'll see those sessions in my link tree.
Yes, because that's how we learn when we hear stuff.
Mhm.
Our testimonies is the thing that bring people together, the thing that our stories, and they're so there's individual lives, but they're so intricately woven together. If we ever just sit down and talk about our experiences, we'll
Mhm.
understand that there is this one fabric, but all of us bring this different textures and different things,
Mhm.
different colors, different hues, and together we make the whole that is so beautiful. And so I
Mhm.
just enjoy knowing that I am a remnant. I have a piece of fabric that I'm supposed to add
Yes.
to it. And then in the end, when we all come together, everybody will see it from afar off, and it will be so beautiful. No matter our background, our religion, our race, or anything, none of that matters. All that matters is love, and we should all be willing to share that because we all
Yes.
receive it from God daily. And so that excites me. And so we have a few minutes for our viewers that have been holding it down with us. Again, I thank you all for your patience and coming to celebrate Miss Dr. Kimberly Offutt with us as we talked about her book, They Need You Now, One Mother's Plea for the Church to Embrace Adoption. I'm so excited about how I can volunteer and help in the journey and help in the cause. And I can't wait to have my time with you as well. And so if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the chat. But you must go to www.streamyard.com/Facebook and give them authorization to show us your comments on this side. And so we want to answer any questions, and we want to just celebrate Dr. Kimberly. She has taken the journey, and she does it with such passion. And when you open your mouth, Dr. Kimberly, when you anything that you say pertaining to it, your face lights up when you talk about the adoption. And I just am so thankful to have been adopted by Christ, even
Mm.
after I lived that life that I lived. And I wish that everybody would look at adoption that same way, that you came with some scars and some bruises and some hurts and some angry parts of you, some bitter roots and different things like that. But Christ died on the cross, and he loved you even in spite of all of that. And then he signed in his blood his signature to say that you were worthy, that what the song say, signed, sealed, and delivered you
Delivered.
right into somebody else's heart, into the kingdom of God. And he's allowed you to grow past your hurts and still be loved and share love. And so the least we can do is support organizations such as yours and the ones that you work alongside that are trying to help these individuals. My children's cousin has a beautiful testimony of the foster care system. She was the only one of her mother's children that went into the foster care system, and now she's an advocate here in Atlanta. And I see her going places and things like that. But even while in college at Albany University, I would see her. She was a mouthpiece for foster care, and
Mhm.
now she's a mother, and you see her love from a different place.
Mhm.
And you see her biological mother, who was my ex aunt-in-law. She passed away, but her foster mom and her are so genuinely close, and their love is so um real and true and authentic, that you know, if you didn't know she was adopted, you wouldn't know she was adopted. You would think that that was
Exactly.
her biological mother. But the journey, even with her siblings, because her mother had, I think, 6 kids or seven, even the journey with her foster mother, still loving up on them even though they didn't come through her home. She still loved them even now that they're adults and mothers or parents of their own. And so I just love when we can just love people in the midst, and we see
Mhm.
each other as one. That is such a beautiful testimony of God's heart and his goodness towards us. So I want to say thank you for writing the book, for being the one that will stand and testify about what it means for a child, whether they are newborn or 16 years old, that just want to be loved. They just want
Exactly.
to feel family. They just want to be covered. It's
Mhm.
a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing to be able to cover someone and share love with someone that is so broken. I say to my grandchildren all the time, broken crayons still color.
They
So
still come.
why not allow them to come and be a part of your palette that you're drawing, and the paints and the hues and different things, even though broken, they still can add to your pink and become red, or your red and become pink, or your purple and your blues, and your red and your blues and become purple, and all of those things. And when we mix it all together, we all become one beautiful color. And that color is love, and I love it. I can't wait.
Just that is beautiful, Miss Crystal. I'm telling you, you got me over here. My eyes starting to water because I'm just like,
Man.
oh, there's so much that you just shared in this moment that has my heart just so full. So I thank you. I thank you for your testimony, and I thank you for your
Yes.
heart and your passion and the ministry that God called you to, and the work that you're doing as well, and
Yes.
the work that is even out there for you to do. Like there's
Yes.
still purpose, there's still
Still.
lives, there's still people that you need to that need to hear you and need
Yeah.
to hear your story. So
I,
that is just beautiful. That is just beautiful. I love you with the love of the Lord. I swear.
I know. I can't wait to talk to you offline, though. We're gonna
Yes,
have such a good time.
we
But
will.
tell me, where are you located in? What areas? What state are you helping in? Do you help worldwide, or how can people reach out, volunteer, all of those
See,
things?
I was getting ready to be like, I'm right here with you, girl. I'm in Atlanta. But since you asked me the bigger question, Grace Institute for Success is my nonprofit that I just launched. It is national. So my goal is to impact children and families all over the world, especially those most at risk of aging out, those who have aged out of the foster care system, to provide care and support and mentorship to them as well. And also to really help foster and adoptive parents through their journey. Because this journey, it's not for the weak. You know what I mean? It's just not.
Mm.
It's going to change you. It's going to change you. And you need the real living Jesus to walk this journey. You think you're people tell me all the time, oh my goodness, you're such a saint. No, I'm no saint. And I know I've done some amazing things to make a great impact on my children's lives, but they've made me a better
Yeah.
woman,
Come on.
a better mother, a believing believer. You know what I mean? They keep me on my knees.
Yeah.
So I'm a different person because of this journey. And I just thank God for that. Yeah.
Yes, and I love that. And that is it, Dr. Kimberly.
Yes.
When we think that we are called to serve others, and we understand that our ministries, our gifts, our talents, whatever they are to make a major impact in the earth. We are called to shake the foundation of
Yes.
what is wrong in the systems. We are called mothers for a reason.
Mhm.
I think about many of my children's friends growing up. I remember my kids could never spend the night with people, but I would always have children over, house full of children. My mother used to be like, "You got all these kids in here. I can't be over your house." But when they had school projects, I would say, "Come on, we're gonna all do projects together." The girls stayed on one side. We would have movie night and all of those things. And these young men to this day introduced me to their children as Mom Dukes. They'd be like, "This is Mom Dukes.
His mom do.
Everybody's Mom Dukes." And I used to be like, "Mom Dukes." But now I see these young black men who mothers passed away and all the things through our journey, because they started with my kids were little, and now they are master barbers owning their own barber shops. One or two of them did get in some trouble, but they got out and they changed, and they still connect and contact me. They still call me for my birthdays.
Seeds.
They
Those
still say,
seeds.
"Hey, Mom Dukes, do you need anything? I just called to check on you." And
Thank
I
you.
remember vividly this mother knocking on my door, And she said, I had to come and meet you. And I said, well, come on in. I'm so Southern. Come on in. And she said, because my son was a hermit. He wouldn't go out. He didn't like to play. And she had like 3 or 4 kids. The other ones would come over. But this one would never come over. She said, but all he says is, Ma, I can't wait till Miss Crystal come home because we're going to go over there and she going to help us do this. And she going to cook this. And I cook for everybody. And that's what I did. And the kids just thrived in school. I volunteered. I worked at night so I can volunteer in the daytime. Parents seeing me in the grocery store, their children saying, hey, Miss Crystal. And the parents like, I wanted to meet you. Are you a teacher? I'm like, no, I just volunteer because the kids just need a little love. They're not bad kids. They just need to be loved right, you know? And people say, well, where did you get that from? Because you had such a rough upbringing. And I now understand, Dr. Kimberly, that it was all by God's divine plan, and it was all his grace. And so that same grace you carry, that same light I see upon your head, and I know that your mantle may feel heavy at times, but understand you are called for this, and I am your sister's keeper. So anytime or anything I can do, I'm an inspirational speaker. I'm quite sure you can tell by now. But yes, that's what I do. Anytime I can come and just pour into the young people, I'm here. I'm here. But
Awesome.
just make sure that what you do at Grace Institute, you continue to love up on those little hearts, because those little hearts grow into big humans. And we want to make sure that they know that the love that they may felt like they missed as a little kid is still available to them, and then it's available for them to give to others, and it shall be reciprocated because
Yes.
God loves them first. And so I apologize for the tardiness and the technical
Oh
issues, but
no, this is
I have
fun.
so enjoyed talking with you and allowing you to share. And it has been my pleasure.
It
And
has
thank you for
been my
all the
pleasure.
work that you do. Thank you for
Thank
everything
you.
you do. And God bless you and all of our people that watched us tonight. We want to say thank you, even from
Mhm.
Kingdom Business Network, our cousins, and now our Facebook family. We say thank you for
Thank
joining us and sitting in as Dr. Kimberly shared her journey through writing and publishing, and even parts of her heart that makes her so passionate about the adoption, and the plea for us to open our hearts and our homes to those that just need a little bit of love. Say you'll do it. And if so, you can follow Dr. Kimberly on all of her platforms at I am Kimberly Offutt, and she will be glad to share with you in any ministry that you have how you can be a part of changing the fabric of the lives of those that may have been lost or left behind. Let them know no longer will they be, because you said yes. So come on and join her. We love you with the love of the Lord, and we hope that you'll join in any way possible. Nothing's too small. Everything is big when God is in it. Love you so much. God bless you all, and good night, Dr. Offutt. It has been a
thank
pleasure.
you. Thank you so much.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.